Ew.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Post Credits Podcast, a show where we are lucky enough to talk about movies with you. This is episode 37.
In a row?
37?
In a row, indeed. Recorded on July 6th, 2025.
That's a Clerks reference. You're welcome.
Indeed. Thank you for the sigh. Posted on podcast services on Tuesday, July 8th, 2025, to the usual spots: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, and YouTube. If you are listening to us on an audio-only feed, I'm looking right at you, even though you can't see me because you're listening to me on an audio-only feed. You can come over to YouTube, check us out there as well. We have full episodes, segments, and again, full episodes posted, all for your viewing pleasure because we know how much you love it. However you choose to watch us or listen, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Yes.
We have a show today. We're going to yammer on for a few minutes, talk about some box office, a surprising and interesting trailer that just crept up this week. We have a movie recommendation. Then we're going to talk about the Jurassic franchise, the highs and the lows, and there are some lows, people. And then the movie of the week, Jurassic World Rebirth. That proves the Hollywood moniker once again is true. If you give people enough money, they will do it and not care about their performance. A little foreshadowing there, folks. I'm one of your hosts, Grayson Maxwell. Joining me as I do every week are my lovely co-hosts, Roger Stillion and Chris Bond. Chris, I had to say Roger's lovely too because he just won something that you, viewer, will not see until a few days after the posting of this. So,
Just know that I'm a champion.
I'm going to challenge that, actually. I'll go back.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back and listen to the tapes and find out who recommended that movie.
It's fine.
How to Train Your Dragon was definitely, it was Roger, and I forced him to. So,
okay.
yeah.
You strong-armed him into that?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you
I
basically
had to really go out on a limb.
So you
here.
basically set up his entire dynasty that's now running through two events running now. Yeah, all right, cool.
Yeah,
for you.
literally half the year, reigning champ.
I think a little more than half because it's
Sorry.
16 and 16 is more than 52, is more than half of 52.
We'll have one more of these before Oscar season, so we can't see if I can have back-to-backs coming up. So
Chris,
I've
you're
held the title through multiple pay-per-views and
well, I'm the runner-up on both these. I'm the runner-up. Chris, you're the one that has not had anything on the final
Hey.
bracket battle.
Second place don't matter.
hey, I'm 2 years running on Oscars though, so I
That's
don't know where
true.
you're at compared
I'm
to
just a loser,
this guy who
whatever,
doesn't know
okay.
shit about shit. Just saying.
Shit about shit.
I mean,
That's
I
how we say
only
that.
remember doing one Oscar battle on this show, so
Oh, I mean, all right.
whatever may happen
All right,
previously
all
is
right,
something
all
we will
right, all right,
discuss.
all right.
All right, indeed. All right, guys, what's happening? How are you? Are you guys alive over there? Are you melting to death
It's
yet?
hot.
It's hot.
It's hot outside. It's 4th of July though, and everyone who celebrates the with all the hot dogs and the grilling and stuff. Have fun with it. This is your weekend, so enjoy it.
Or in past tense, it will have been your weekend. Sure.
Oh yeah, true.
Yep.
Yep.
I don't know. The long
I
weekend.
mean, you can have hot dogs any day you want.
Yeah.
Like, there's no rules.
I
against
mean, listen. I don't like to have hot dogs unless I have to, so I'm not a hot dog guy.
Wait. Why are you a hot dog hater? What's going on with that?
I've never liked them. Hot dog water grosses me out. I knew to stay away from hot dog water even at a young age. So I think I'm just genetically, gifted in knowing, what will kill me and what will not.
You you don't have to eat them via water.
You don't have
They
to.
can
You
be
don't have
cooked
to
other
drink them.
ways.
Listen, my brother's a hot dog connoisseur. I understand the value of a.
He's a wiener master.
He is a wiener maestro. Even.
Wiener maestro.
He has the
my
perfect
Lord.
microwave
This is why
settings
you
for his hot
people come
dogs.
here. This is
What?
why you people come here.
Oh yeah,
I don't
Wiener
like that.
Maestro. Wait, so
Wait.
what's this hot dog water nonsense? What is that?
You ever? Ew, I mean, I don't know. Like the water that hot dogs sit in the package and it smells gross and disgusting. And
That's why you don't drink it.
yeah. I mean,
Unless you do. I mean,
But here's the
I
thing:
don't know.
you certainly can if you choose to. Who am I to tell anybody how to live their lives?
Um,
I don't need that.
I mean,
That's
look,
disgusting.
I like a good old fashioned hot dog from time to time with the right like accoutrements on it.
You
Yeah,
look like a guy who likes hot dogs. So
What does that
makes
even
sense.
mean, sir?
Average
Exactly.
wiener enjoyer, Grayson Maxwell.
I do enjoy a wiener now and again. I will say that is good.
Yeah,
with some,
listen,
you know,
I got
accoutrements.
pictures and text messages.
There is one. That is correct.
there's
Chris.
two,
That's-
but yeah.
there's two. Yes. Oh my goodness,
Oh,
viewer,
good
just know
times.
that it does exist, viewer. It does. Chris has the proof.
We don't
Yes,
have a
indeed.
Twitter, do we? Because we can just put those up right away.
You're in charge of that, bro. You're in charge of that, man.
Just bro me? All right, cool.
I did, bro. What up, bro?
Bruh.
Oh no, move on from this.
Handle your Twitter, bruh.
Move on from this.
And
What else we got
indeed,
going
That's
on?
the everything.
Indeed. What else is going on, Chris? What about you?
Not much. I don't know. Ever since I started working in software design, I follow these nifty little Reddit threads that tell me what days I should take off to have very long weekends for the
I have some of
holidays.
those too.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a nice long weekend for me and most of the people that I work with. So it's been nice. Did some nerdy stuff over the weekend. Played some D&D with the family. Wrapped up a campaign. Had some good time there. And
Nice.
yeah, here I am talking about a dinosaur movie.
Did you stomp your family into oblivion with Warhammer? Did you win?
No, none of that happened. But it is what it is.
All right, fair enough.
Yep.
What about you, Roger? Anything specific?
No, man. Good 4th
No,
of July
no
for
fireworks for each of you guys.
Well, I mean, I live in the middle of a town, so it's
it's-
technically I can light them off. I chose not to.
But you
there's
didn't
actually-
travel anywhere to go see them?
No, not this year. But this is the first year in a while I haven't done anything like that. Normally, a bunch of me and my friends get together and blow stuff up. But
Nice.
we didn't do that this year. That's all. We did host a bunch of folks in my house during the afternoon on Friday,
Mhm.
which was the 4th of July, actually. So
Very cool.
that was nice. Had some drinks, had some grilled meats, had a bunch of people over. It was nice. It was really, really hot that day, though. So mostly stayed in the house, which is, when you have like 18 to 25 people or so wandering
Yeah.
around your home, that's not ideal. So I stuck it out outside. Stayed underneath my umbrella shade. I have a nice little outdoor patio and, a TV because I'm super fancy. And
There you go.
watched baseball and had some frosty cold beverages.
Frosty cold. But you have a hot dog?
Of course I did.
Yeah, there you go, Chris.
Disgusting.
Hot
Vile.
dog hater. I don't.
Yeah.
Look,
I also had a cheeseburger.
There we go. See, I'm on board.
after we sign off for the evening, I'm going to go enjoy myself a hot dog or two out of my fridge because they are good.
We've been
Typical
through this.
wiener
You
enjoyer.
are a wiener enjoyer. We get it.
I will put the wiener in my mouth and I will chew it up and it'll go down the hatch. Yes, that's what's going to happen.
Oh, man.
This is what you people come here for. It
Do
is
you eat
indeed.
those? Do you
You
eat
know, I
those?
need a short for next week. And my God, I think we found it. This is good. 7 minutes in.
Yeah. Grayson,
My work is done.
do you eat hot dogs like the bird from Jurassic Park? Ate that guy? Just
I thought you mimic it. I almost did.
Make the noise.
You almost
Do
did.
it. Do it.
I went to do it and my brain's like, stop,
Don't do
idiot.
that.
Chris is baiting you. Chris is
Don't do
baiting
that.
you. Nope, not going to do it.
I shouldn't do it, but I want to. I want to so bad.
I wonder if the animators knew, they knew what they were doing with that, right?
course they did.
Oh, yeah.
They had a
It's
good time,
fine.
I'm sure, but a little
But all-
foreshadowing.
We gotta have fun too. I get
Although in a dinosaur movie, you know there's going to be death, so of course that's.
There doesn't have to be.
there almost wasn't in this one. Anyway,
Indeed. Let's get on with the show. Yeah. So we have a good show, guys. Let's start talking about it. Once again, folks, this is episode 37 of Post Credits Podcast, a show where we are lucky enough to talk about movies with you. Without any further delay, let's hop into the box office. Not a lot of surprise here.
I don't know. It's kind of
Talk about it.
surprising how much money Jurassic Park made.
Well, I'm actually really upset because this movie to me is just lazy. I don't know where the lazy comes in. I can speculate all
Hey,
day
You're burying
long.
the
but
lead,
I
sir.
don't know. Jurassic World Rebirth, 91.5 domestic
Ooh, that's a big boy.
for 318 million worldwide.
That's a big boy. 318.
308. That's what's worldwide take though. That's not just U.S.
That's still a lot for worldwide on week one.
So for comparison, week one of Jurassic World Rebirth was what I just said. F1 the movie, week number 2, 26.1 million, has taken a worldwide of 293. So Jurassic Park just slapped it all the way down and just
Yeah.
and
It
then
makes sense,
and then bag tagged it. And
Dear
that was
listener,
it.
F1 is an excellent movie, and you should go see it.
Agreed.
Far better than Jurassic
I-
World Rebirth.
I wasn't going to say that, but
I mean, what's true is true.
he's not wrong.
Number 3, How to Train Your Dragon, 11 million with a worldwide of 516. Very happy at that number.
All right.
Elio, you're in fourth. I don't care. 5.7 million, 96 million worldwide take. That's actually, I saw that was actually one. This is the worst launch for
Pixar ever.
Yeah.
Pixar ever in history. So, number 5.
So hold on. Well, there's one thing I want to say about Elio real quick.
Yeah.
Is the Pixar boss actually is quoted as saying is everybody asked us to make original content, and when we made something else original, no one goes to see it.
That's
hold on.
Hold on, that's taking it a little out of I mean, I understand what he's doing, but he's also twisting the reality of
No.
what happened with this
Hey,
movie.
Well, hold on.
He's allowed to say whatever he wants.
Hold on, but what does that mean though? Like, what is original content in this case compared to what else they make?
Well, they don't. People will ask all the time why you keep making sequels to things.
Okay.
Well, don't get mad at me. I didn't say it.
No,
Well,
I'm getting mad at him through you.
So he they get asked all the time why they continue to make sequels to other movies, like extra
Okay.
Toy Stories and things
Yeah.
like that. And they say because that's what people want, and they're like, "Well, we want something original."
Yeah.
So the last two original things that they have done,
Yeah.
Well, I guess Elemental ended up making a bunch of money in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
Have not been critical success, or have not been financial successes.
Elemental came out at a weird time, and that is a fantastic film.
It did. Elemental's great. You should
Yeah.
see it. Nobody did.
Yeah.
So you should.
No,
But,
listen,
I mean,
it's
the
not-
Asian market.
The problem isn't that they made something original; it's that they made something that no one cared about, including them.
Yeah, that's
They
true.
didn't advertise it.
Hold on.
But the other part of it is it's got all the critical reviews like all the other typical Pixar stuff does too, though. So it's weird.
I mean,
Well, did it or did it?
It does.
I mean, it does when you're looking at it on paper, but when you know where those reviews came from, that's where there's a lot of trouble
So
now.
you
in
say
Paradise.
that and you don't really have anything
I
to back
know.
that up.
It-
So
I don't have any except some articles online. I don't have anything to back that up. But you correct. However, with Elio, there's a lot of background story behind Elio. You, dear listener, are more than welcome to Google it. I don't think it's as original as they want to tout it to be. But for whatever reason, it's just not doing as well. Like Chris said, it wasn't advertised.
no, they didn't promote it very well at all.
No, they did not.
Nope.
And
So-
the movie, and everyone that I know that has seen the movie has said it doesn't teach anything. It has no real good basis for its
I heard
film.
the kid's a dickhead.
And yeah, like the character isn't like a character that like is a lot of fun to watch. The Metacritic for that thing is 66 and 5.5. The movie's not good. It's not getting great reviews for reasons. It's not because they made original things, because they made original thing that sucks. Anyway, I don't know. I don't like the whole blaming the audience thing for making bad stuff. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's an anti-pattern, and it doesn't lead to good decision making down the road. It leads to not holding yourself accountable for making something that just didn't work. It's fine. It happens. It's a creative studio, and sometimes what you make that you think is creative just doesn't resonate.
Well,
That's okay.
they also cut that movie to hell and back because of a decision made months ago, which is what I
fine.
was alluding to. But when you have a movie that the story's already been established and you're almost done animating it, and then you start to make story changes, you're gonna have a movie that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, and that's what they have.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's we've talked enough about Elio, but I invite people to watch it. I want theatrical releases to make money. I think kids will enjoy it.
Well, here's the
Because
thing.
I've seen it. It is colorful. It is
Yeah.
fun. It is a lot of space and a lot of funny things going on. Yeah, kids will enjoy it.
In the end, don't pass judgment on it until you've seen it.
Sure, of
obviously,
course.
don't leave a review unless you've seen the film.
What's
But-
the one rule of film criticism, Roger?
Watch
To
the
watch
movie.
You have to watch the movie
Rules.
first. Right.
Yeah, but in the end, but like just like there's those rules, don't criticize unless you've seen it. Don't leave a review unless you've seen it. Don't blame your audience because that you made something that they didn't like. That doesn't help anywhere in the process. You have to take what you have to
Correct.
make what you're going to make the decisions you want to make, stick to them for reasons you have, but you can't be mad when you make a decision and someone else doesn't like it. That's just not how
Correct.
creative work works.
Number 5, 28 years later, 4.6 million for 125 million worldwide. That's a little softer than I would have hoped for this movie. I would have.
Can I say one more thing
Yes.
about the just related to the Elio thing?
Yeah.
I will say the same thing to the people that made 28 years later. Because like while I was extremely hyped and excited for that movie and I wanted to love that thing, they made some decisions that were really weird and decisions they wanted to make. It's good for them, but it's also their fault that people got really disconnected with parts of that film. It's the
I
same
would agree.
thing. It's not just Elio and Pixar. It's whatever comes out there, and you make some decisions that rub your audience the wrong way.
Make things weird. Don't be surprised when people are like, "Hey, that's fucking weird."
I mean, Roger's a man years beyond his wisdom beyond his years, indeed. Number 6 through 10, Megan 2.0, M3gan, as it's more called. Number 7, Lilo and Stitch. Number 8, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, still making some money. Wonder where that guy's at. That's at a 576 worldwide take, so That's about where it's
All
going to end, though. But number 9, Materialists, and Ballerina number 10 is still kicking 107 worldwide. Also, a much softer movie than I would have thought, given its connection to the John Wick world. But a little bit of housekeeping before we jump into the next segment. We just recorded a movie bracket battle number 2. That will be up later this week if you're listening to this episode post. It was a lot of fun. We hope to have your patronage on that. It'll be available via audio feeds and on YouTube as well. So please look forward to that. All right, guys, let's go on with the show, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's do something.
Let's talk about a trailer. And this trailer, I think, is a big deal because it does the thing where people expect the movie to start. Nicole Kidman has come on. If you've seen it from AMC, she's come on. She said a bunch of true stuff that people do or do not believe, whatever. But, it did the whole thing where it's like, okay, silence your phone. The movie's about to start. And then you see the screen come up following trailers rated PG-13. And you're like, wonder what that means. And then the trailer for Nolan's newest film coming out, The Odyssey, has debuted on Jurassic World Rebirth. Fellas, what are we thinking about this? About the way they chose to reveal it, and the very small snippet we've seen. What are the thoughts so far?
I mean, I think for the small snippet, sure.
I mean, for 30 seconds,
Sure.
I guess.
I mean, like, look, they make sure you understand who's in this movie.
Yeah.
And I think that's important.
Mm-hmm.
Past that, I mean, like, look, our stuff is good.
Yeah, so like this is in like a time era that I'm very much interested in movie wise. So I'm excited for this movie for that reason. Also, Nolan's attached to it, so I'm going to be interested. There's a lot happening here that all like market for high praise and such like that, or high expectations, I should say. But I haven't seen anything to make me excited, like related to the film itself yet, besides knowing who's in it and knowing who made it and what the story's about. So I need to see more to be excited for the film and what it's showing me. But like, I don't know, generally speaking, I saw things that I already knew. So cool. I'm ready to see one trailer and then never see another trailer, never see another teaser, never see anything else about the film until I walk and sit down with my popcorn and my drink and watch the damn movie.
No, I want to see a trailer. I mean,
that's what I just said. Yeah, I want to see one trailer and then be done. This isn't a trailer. This is like a 30-second teaser clip. You know what I mean? It's not quite a trailer, but I don't want to see 9 different trailers and snippets and sneak peeks like we are for like Superman, for example. I just want to see one thing. Don't spoil a whole bunch of stuff, even though like if you know the story of Odysseus, you know it, whatever. But like
3,000-year-old story.
Yeah, but don't
Spoiler.
show everything and then I go in the theater and I've seen the best parts of your movie on the 3 different trailers that came out for it.
Well, what we've seen, I would have expected Nolan to be above it, and by that what I mean is the dialogue seems a bit contemporary. The dialogue seems like, look, I'm certainly no expert in the phonetics, the phonology of language. I vaguely know what it should and shouldn't sound like, but that sounded very Brooklyn, New York, kind of like.
I
don't
don't
know.
I don't know. Some actors can only do so much with that.
Well, the other thing
You know
is
what I mean?
too is you make a bunch of weird creative decisions and like have them speak in Old English.
Yeah,
Like people don't like that shit either.
yeah.
Because like, look, they should be speaking Greek.
Well,
I was gonna say, yeah.
Let's say if you really want to break
Yeah.
down barriers here, that's the wrong language.
well, I don't want
Just subtitle the whole thing.
I
Oh, what a ballsy move that would be.
I'm sure they had the conversation. Although I mean, Troy is the benchmark. Troy has to be the benchmark for this. I expect the bare minimum of research for, at least for Troy, is the language and how they use it. And I mean, Old English isn't too much to ask for because that's closer to what seems like very contemporary language they're speaking, like speech patterns and words they're using. It just, to me, it sounded a bit off. But again, I don't want to judge a movie by a teaser because that's maybe what they could be. That hasn't been shooting for a long time.
Mm.
I know people were traveling over there like just a few months ago. I know the production coordinator went over and
Where are they shooting at?
He started working on this
in Greece.
legitimately 2 months after he wrapped Oppenheimer. So
Oh, was it? Okay,
Jump
maybe
right
it
in?
is.
yeah.
Well, I know some people went over. Maybe they were replacing people. Maybe it's further in production than I thought. But I know some people that went over a few months ago, so I didn't expect to see anything for at least a little while. But anyway, that's
I don't know how long they've been shooting, but he's been developing this for a while.
it's a big deal.
It's a huge cast.
A Nolan
huge
film is a big deal. So I really hope
It is
this.
a Universal property.
I really hope it makes money. I
Weird.
really hope people are excited to see it. I'm hoping that I have a little. I mean, some of the casting. At least we know what Tom Holland is playing.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure I would have made that choice, but look. Christopher Nolan is a much smarter man than I am. So
Hold
I'm
on,
sure he
Tom.
made the right choice.
You can't be iffy on Tom Holland as the son of Odysseus, but be okay with Tom Holland as 007. Like that
I'm
makes
not.
no
I'm
sense.
not. I'm not okay with either one of those choices. I'm not okay. I am. I'm more okay with him as Odysseus than I am with 007.
I won't let you
007's a
besmirch
killer.
our Spider-Man.
I can't. I just can't do that. But
So like this is the listed cast as of right now: Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Zendaya, Lupita Nyong'o, Robert Pattinson, Charlize Theron, John Bernthal, Benny Safdie, John Leguizamo, Elliot Page, Hamish Patel, Mia Goth, and Corey Hawkins.
This movie's going to be 3 hours and 38 minutes long.
good.
Almost-
It should be.
Almost all of his normal crew, minus JGL. Where's he at?
Well, hold on.
Yeah,
Minus Michael Caine, minus Morgan Freeman. You know,
Morgan Freeman? Is he one of his dudes?
Nolan. He's only been in like 5 of his movies. Yeah. No, I mean he was in the Batman films. Was he anything else?
No. that's kind of what I was like.
Well, I
yeah.
mean, of the
That's
movies, he's been in 3. I mean, again, it's the same franchise, but
But also, I would.
Michael Caine's
know,
been in several.
Where's
though.
Tom
Maybe-
Hardy and
Yeah.
yeah,
where's JGL? Also, I don't think Michael Caine wanted to go spend a lot of time in a desert.
yeah. He's probably over all that.
Is Greece a desert?
It's hot.
I mean, there's a lot of where they film.
Sure,
This.
okay.
It's going to be a lot of desert warfare.
I'm excited. I know that like as far as where Nolan started and where he is now, is like there's some discrepancy in my mind of like what he's doing, but maybe that's just the evolution of Hollywood that he's taken into account. Again, I think Nolan is an extremely smart guy, much smarter than I am. So anything I'm saying, it probably means nothing as far as like he's concerned. But I mean, he's a very
Just
smart
throw your own
filmmaker.
ideas out the window.
you think
like
you think he listens to the show? You know what I mean?
No, not even. Chris Nolan, if you
Also-
want to come on the show, please let us know.
don't listen to what 3 assholes on the radio have to say about your movie choices.
Fair.
Indeed, but I'm supremely excited. When Nolan makes a movie, it is an event. Like, you know, Pixar movies are no longer an event. Marvel movies are somewhat of an event, but not really. But Nolan films are still an event. So I really am excited for that.
Is Superman an event?
This Superman, the
Yeah.
one coming up.
I don't think people care. I think
It's
I
becoming
mean, I'm
le-
not asking about the one that came out like 7 years ago now.
I don't know.
Man of Steel was
Um,
11 years ago.
Listen, we'll talk.
11 years ago.
We'll talk about Superman next week.
Sure,
We'll talk
yeah,
about Superman because I got a lot to say already. I haven't even seen the goddamn movie yet. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, there's but like I think people are kind of turned off by the DC part of it as of right now. So we'll see. I mean, next week will be the week for that kind of discussion. But so I am cautiously optimistic about this Nolan trailer. I am excited, but I'm also I think it's far enough out. It's literally a year out, isn't it?
I don't
26,
understand the
yeah.
point of this trailer.
I think he's trying to get
Stone.
people talking, but I mean, a year out, I think that was probably a bad move.
I don't know. Like it's funny because when you think about like what the modern audience goes to see, I don't think the modern audience goes to see a 3.5-hour movie about the story of Odysseus. I don't think there's there's a chance this movie doesn't make a ton of money. And I know it's super early to say something like that, but I wouldn't be surprised if this movie has, this huge star-powered cast that it has. It's 3 hours long and wins a ton of awards, but makes like $300 million at the box office max. Like, I wouldn't be shocked.
When's
if
the
that's
next
how it goes.
Minions come out?
Why does that? Wait, what just made that pop in your head?
Because he was just like, I don't know why audiences want to go see.
Because that's your
You know
modern
what-
audience.
You know what they want to go see? The fucking Minions.
Yep.
Because it's
Bah, bah, bah,
true.
bah.
That's it.
Imagine the next Minions movie comes out alongside of this
wait.
movie and the Minions blows it out of the water money wise.
He
Crazy.
just had a recent Best Picture winner. Like Nolan had Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer.
yeah.
That was 3 hours long.
Yeah. Yeah. Weird.
And it went toe to toe with Barbie. It didn't make enough money, as much money as Barbie, but it went toe to toe with Barbie.
I mean,
for
like,
many
look,
weeks.
it did very well for
Yeah.
itself.
Of course. I think if you, I would think if you're betting this movie won't make money, I think that's the wrong side of the bet. I think this movie's going to make a ton of money, and I think, matter of fact, I think we just did box office. I think it will be. Again, I'm terrible at this game, but I think
Don't do
it'll.
it.
I think
Don't
it'll
do
match.
it.
I think it'll match Jurassic World Rebirth, if not
Ooh.
do more than.
You think a
I think it
3.5 hour period piece that families won't go to see, only dudes will go to see, and drag
That will be rated R, by the way.
and will drag
Yeah.
a few of their girlfriends too. You think that's going to make?
You think Odyssey will be rated R?
Oh, it'll be.
No, no, I don't.
You think it'll be PG-13?
I
Well, yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
There's no
Come on,
reason to make it
is-
rated R.
I mean, Oppenheimer was R, and he proved that you can make almost $1 billion with an R-rated movie.
yeah, but so did Deadpool.
Yeah,
Different,
okay, fair.
different feel. Well, you're not wrong, and I congratulate you for that. That is not the same, and you know it.
It doesn't have a rating right now, which means they might be skirting them. Which means they didn't have anything like they didn't shoot for something, which means they're skirting it in the editing.
Yeah,
So
gotcha.
and that could be sure. But I think if you're betting, it's not going to make. I think you're betting that's the wrong side of the bet to take.
It's not going to make Jurassic World money. That's crazy.
Well, 91 million is the. I mean, I'll write it down. 91 million is what it has to make for me to.
Okay, so you're talking about the domestic, not the worldwide. Got it.
No. I mean, I'm worried about the domestic. I mean, Roger, we do domestic,
That's fine.
and but we'll see. We'll see when it comes
Only
out.
you do domestic. Don't lump me into that.
No, I do. Okay, fine. Worldwide.
I do
and
totals.
domestic.
Numbers.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah.
I care about the entire world, not just United
It's
States.
true. Yeah, he's not.
I'm a world.
He's not an
man.
isolationist.
God. All right.
How very jingoistic of you, sir.
All right. Let's start off the conversation with a movie recommendation for the week. It's my turn. Obviously, has to be Jurassic Park.
Hell yeah, Minions! Oh,
So,
It has to
so
be
you're,
the
pick-
original Jurassic Park.
so you're picking Jurassic Park 2, right?
3, to be honest.
Okay,
no.
yeah, gotcha.
No,
Deep pool.
Jurassic.
No, listen. No one ever picks 3.
I know, and it's better than
No.
2.
I disagree with that. I 100%
just-
disagree
All right,
with that.
as long as you don't believe what you're
Listen,
saying, that's fine.
I loved Jurassic Park 3 when I was a kid because the guy's name was Kirby. The guy's last name was Kirby, and I loved Kirby. Like I was playing the shit out of that.
Who
Super
doesn't
Nintendo
love
at the time.
Kirby?
So it was like
It's
you know, I was
weird
like,
reasoning,
that's
but-
cool.
That's also very kid reasoning too. So,
Yeah, I was.
sure.
I was a
I
kid,
was a
dude.
child.
Yeah, come on, that makes complete sense.
Let's talk about the first Jurassic Park, Legend
do it.
status, 1993, Steven Spielberg. Hell of a like a legendary
Solid
cast.
movie entry bracket, by the way.
Yeah, right. Yeah, coming
You-
off of that.
Sam Neill, Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, Richard Attenborough, Bob Peck, among several others. That Wayne Knight, for example, Jared Mullen. I think it
Sam
that
Jackson.
movie, of course, yeah, very very early Sam Jackson too. That movie did a lot.
God damn it!
It's funny that you say early Sam Jackson, but I feel like Sam Jackson has been at least 50 since I've started seeing him in
Like, look,
movies.
you could legitimately tell me he was 31 years old or 54 years old in that movie, and I wouldn't.
Right? Yeah.
I wouldn't know idea.
What is he? That's the original Jurassic Park still has lines of dialogue I think are just sheer perfection. It has whole conversations where I've tried to I've listened to it a number of times and I've written it down. I've tried to cut out words and you can't cut out the words. Everything about that movie is just that is a master class in how to make that kind of movie. It even the dinosaur. I mean, Chris, something you and I talk about all the time because of Dragonheart, of course, is like the dragon/dinosaur physics. Those still look great today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when you said lines of dialogue, you know what immediate line of dialogue from Jurassic Park popped into my head?
I'm
What?
sure a Sam
When-
Jackson line.
No, when Malcolm goes, "That's one big pile of shit."
Yep.
Yeah.
One big pile of shit.
Perfectly written.
It's, because then the
is.
camera pans over and it really is just a
The big-
mountain of dinosaur fucking poop.
That's a hell of a movie. It does everything that Spielberg does. For example, it's when those kids get lost in the tree because the car fell. Again, a wonderful sequence when Sam Neill goes with them and the girl's hyperventilating. It's like, "You're gonna leave us. You're gonna leave us. You're gonna leave us." The other guy left us, and he leans in. There's like kind of a spotlight on his eyes. He's like, "But that's not what I'm gonna do." Like, yep, that's Spielberg, and that's what he does best. I think this movie is above reproach, and every time I see a movie like Jurassic World Rebirth or some of the Jurassic World films, I wonder what Spielberg thinks of them. Now, when it comes to like being out in public and, "Oh, what do you think about this movie?" He's going to say, I liked it. I was entertained. I had my popcorn." But I can imagine he doesn't think too highly of some of those films. He can't possibly. To be the caliber of filmmaker he is and see some of these movies, he has to be disappointed.
Did he make Jurassic Park 2 and 3? Or did
He
just make one?
made
His
Jurassic Park 1 and
studio.
2. He did
His
1 and 2.
studio did it.
Yeah, but did he make? Was he the director on 2 and 3?
On 2, yes.
On 2?
On 3,
Okay.
no.
Gotcha.
No,
I mean,
no.
And
I
nothing
mean-
since.
I think we can all agree that 1 to 2 is a huge difference in like
Quality.
the quality and the caliber of the film. So, I almost want to ask the question: what if, do we think that the Jurassic World movies would be any better if Spielberg was directing them instead of, the team that has made the world films all the way through? And I don't know the answer to that because I've seen Jurassic Park and I've seen Jurassic Park 2. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Well,
there's a chance that they're
I don't
not
know.
any better with a
I
different
would
director.
argue that Jurassic World
Mhm.
number 4
Mhm.
is probably the second best movie
oh yeah, no one's.
out of the 4,
out of the 7.
out of the
Out of
7.
all of them together. I'd put the original
You might be right.
and then Jurassic Park 4.
Yeah, you might be right.
And then everything else just sort of lumps together, descending into madness.
Yeah,
So-
madness. Yeah.
Well, I don't. Here's the thing about 2, and 2 is debated because it's like it was his baby, and I don't know if the thing about 2 is logically it went where the story was going to go. I mean, I want to speculate on like, oh well, he just bit off more than he could chew. I don't think it was that. He took elements of the first film, which was super successful, put those, Goldblum went back, he put the same, and then he's like, wouldn't it be someone, I'm sure the studio was like, oh my God, what if one of them made it back to New York and started, King Konging around the place, which of course he was like, and they were like, we're in charge. And he's like, okay. So he just did it. I don't know if that's where the original script went, but I've always
say,
well, I mean, there's a book.
Sure, but I mean, I imagine you read it and it's like, well, maybe we can admit that because it's a little ridiculous. But
so here's the thing: the Jurassic Park books, Jurassic Park and Lost World books, are a lot more dark. They are 100% rated R books, which is something I've been clamoring for from Jurassic Park. I don't know, for 15 years.
Yeah, but
give us
they got
cerebral horror movie.
They got that Universal ride. You know what I mean? They
can't do that. They got that PG. They got that hard PG-13.
Yep.
And, like we just won't do it, and like there's so much a better story there.
Yeah, I mean, all it's going to take
I'll
is
talk about later.
That's all it's going to take is a different studio coming in.
There'll never be a different studio.
No. And a different studio not making a Jurassic World movie, but making their own modern dinosaur film. Like dinosaur monster movie thing. Like it's possible. There's no one's tried for some reason.
True,
but it's hard when you see
Well, animation's really expensive.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Well, I mean, it wasn't It wasn't a lot of animation back when the first Jurassic Park film. So you can do it without a lot of animation, especially nowadays. You probably have better access to stuff like that and easier time animating.
Get some Chuck E. Cheese level animatronics.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I've seen Velocipaster. You could do it.
I do enjoy Velocipaster for sure.
Oh yeah, Velocipaster's one hell of a thing.
I think Jurassic Park is one of those movies that if it didn't exist, we wouldn't have a lot of other things. It's just one of those. It changed everything, and it's a masterpiece for a reason.
Well, yeah, the first, like, I still remember like watching it because I didn't watch it in the movie theater the first time. I remember watching it on like a VHS, and when they come through the field, and like you look up and there's just a dinosaur. Like I remember that being like 10 years old.
Yeah, whoa.
Like I remember, like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
and still to this day, like that old movie still looks pretty good.
Yeah, it holds up pretty well.
And that the story of the first one is just so solid.
Yeah, I think the only thing I think of that really sticks out is some of the raptor scenes are a little rough, like holding up nowadays with the animatronics and practical effects they used. And the Triceratops, man. Triceratops, you can tell is a big hunk of plastic. You know what I mean? But I mean, they did the best with what they had back then, and it's still a good movie all around, even in light of those things. Not holding up as well as we'd like them to.
Do you think the pile of poop was practical?
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Not funny. Okay. Moving on.
Yeah, your poop joke didn't land, sir.
No, it did not. It's cringy when you consider some of the other movies that come into it. But we'll talk about them. We are going to talk about one specifically. However, let's move into. So I want to talk about the franchise, kind of an open forum for a few minutes. However, I want to start the discussion of the franchise. So I want to talk about this list, and there's only 7 movies. So this is them ranked from 1 to 7, but we'll start with 7. This is by Rotten Tomato critical score. So grain of salt, as always, grain of salt. So let's talk about this for 1 second. Number 7. Now this is a surprise to me. Jurassic World Dominion is a huge surprise to me. Although that movie is bad,
That's what I consider the worst.
I personally don't think it's the worst of the bunch. But we'll get into that in a little bit.
Okay.
But
Fine.
number 6, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, which I think most people would agree is among the bottom echelon for
Pretty
sure.
bad.
Jurassic Park 3, number 5.
Okay.
And the newest entry, Jurassic World Rebirth, is slotting in at number 4.
Huh.
So it's the 4th best.
So that means it's legitimately the very middle.
Yeah.
Which I completely disagree.
I don't
with.
necessarily agree with that either.
Yeah.
Nope.
Should be a notch or two lower.
The Lost World, Jurassic Park, comes in at number 3. Number 2, surprise to some, Jurassic World slots in at number 2, which to me is odd. I don't think any of those movies are really worth anything. But again, that's my personal opinion. Obviously, people did like it, so fair enough. And of course, the number 1, Velocipaster. No, I'm kidding. Jurassic Park, number 1, slotting at 91% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is pretty damn high.
Yeah.
So, like, to me, I think that list is pretty spot on. The only thing that I would change is the newest one, the one we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it at 4. I would probably put it at like 6.
Mm-hmm.
And because like me and you, like we talked beforehand, like none of us really enjoy this movie. Just a spoiler.
Uh-oh.
There's a lot happening in this movie, and most of it's not great. And for some reason, like we got to talking, and Grayson and Chris honestly think this might be the worst one of the franchise. And here's the thing. That's very fair. And I told them this, and for some reason I had to defend this movie as if I didn't say legitimately, I think this might be the second worst movie of the franchise. I had to die on the hill of 6, not quite 7. So they're the bottom of the barrel with this list, and however order you want to rank them, I would bring this movie down a couple of notches. Like the bottom of the Jurassic Park barrel, well, you get dinosaurs and you get some action, you get some really soft story.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
it's just not there. And for whatever reason, people have just come to accept, like, we'll just go see it.
Yeah. That's the weird part.
It is weird, but then you think of Transformers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Where at no point are any of those movies really actually super good.
Yeah.
Like there is, like, the first Jurassic Park movie, masterpiece, right?
It is.
Like 10, if you had to put a number on it, right? Like
9 at least.
Yeah, like
yeah.
You could convince me straight up that it's a 10, and I wouldn't argue with it, right?
Yeah.
So the top of the list is so very high, and the bottom is so low, and then you compare to like another 7 or 8, 9 movie franchise like Transformers that for a long time didn't matter if they were bad.
Yeah.
Just keep putting them out. They'll go see it.
There's a weird, there's a weird, take your family to this movie thing. And in my showing of
it's fucking packed.
Of Rebirth, it was packed, and I found it so weird how young kids were in this. I'm thinking, parents, you do realize that people are going to get eaten alive. On the
half
screen
of this
here, right?
audience or half of these people in this movie are going to get consumed by a dinosaur.
Yeah, it's like I don't know if this is where I'd take my 3-year-old, to see this movie, but like I don't know, take your family to the movies. You have a choice between Elio and and Murder Dinosaurs. I guess I'm picking Murder Dinosaurs too, but it's just
they can go see F1.
I mean, wait, hold on. Why aren't they watching How to Train Your? Are you assuming they've already seen that?
Hey, they could go watch F1.
Well, I think that it's not that they may or may not have already seen How to Train Your Dragon. The Elio reference is just more of my surprise of why you're taking your 4-year-old to watch people get eaten on screen by dinosaurs. But it's because the parents want to see it too. You know what I mean? It's not. It's like it's still within like that generation of people who got to see the original Jurassic Park, who probably have an affinity for these movies, and why so many people take their families to go see Jurassic Park compared to other options that are out there, or the fact that these are bad movies generally, and they're probably not worth the money that they make, but people pay to see them. I feel like that, I don't know, like this whole list of movies, right? And I agree with Roger on what he said. The top of this list is pretty good.
Yep.
The top 2.
Yep.
And then after that, it takes a sharp dive and it plummets, in my opinion.
Well, after you get past 3.
Yeah.
I think the cliff is very
Yeah.
sheer.
I mean, I'm not as surprised about World as you are, Grayson, because it's obvious. It has Chris Pratt in it.
That's right. It checks all the superstar movie star boxes.
Yeah, it's all
baby.
you really need to have a successful film, or even franchise. If you at least mention Chris Pratt or his character in your movie, it's going to do well. But like,
yeah. We all love Chris Pratt. Moving on, please.
But here's my point on that is,
I knew you loved him.
my point that I'm trying to make is that beyond those two, and even like we don't have strong stories or strong characters anymore. Lost World brings back Goldblum's character, but
brings back everybody.
Well, not everybody, right? Alan Grant doesn't come back till the third one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right,
so
right, sure.
Yeah. But whereas
Ellie doesn't come back for the second one either, does she?
No, she was back for the third. I was thinking the third one.
Okay, I gotcha. But like, so like it's like they forget that you need to have in these movies for particularly if you want people to care about like the stakes involved, is that you need to have character. It has to be a character story as well, like a character based movie, not just a monster movie. And even bad monster movies don't do this right. And I think Jurassic Park kind of walks that line of being a monster movie as much as it is anything else. Because close. Think of one that did it really well, and that's Godzilla -1. That movie is a character-driven movie that happens to have Godzilla in it.
Yeah.
And
excellent movie, by the way.
It's black and white. It climbs all the hurdles of being black and white, of being a a subtitled movie, and they did a hell of a job doing a character-based film with a monster in it. Jurassic Park doesn't have it anymore. The first Jurassic Park movie had that. You had multiple characters you were rooting for, multiple characters you connected with, and actual themes that were meaningful and a little deeper than big corporation bad, because that's what half of the Jurassic Park movies are now. So I don't know. This list makes a lot of sense to me because the first 1, 2, or 3 on this list make a lot of sense, and then the bottom of the barrel makes a lot of sense too. Yeah.
It's not as sharp a drop if you'd think. So 1 to 7 are as follows: 91, 72, 56. Number 4 is 52. Number 5 is 49. Number 6 is 47, and then 29. Dominion is. I mean, look, that's
number 1 was 91,
and correct.
Number 2 was what?
72. So that's the biggest drop off. That one.
But number 3 was what?
56.
Okay, hold on. So we go from 90 to 70 to 50.
Correct.
And we stay in the 50s. I think you have 2 big drops, my friend. I don't think you have 1 big drop.
Well,
maybe it's 2 and then everything else. I mean, that's fair. Because, like, look, you couldn't. If I had to pick the third best Jurassic Park movie,
who cares?
Here's the thing. I probably can. I don't want to.
It's like picking the third best Terminator movie or third best Alien movie or third best Superman movie, or I mean, like there are standouts and then there's everything else.
That's Terminator Genesis, sir.
Yeah.
God. What if Terminator Genesis was remade with Chris Pratt? Oh my goodness.
Hey, listen, I bet. You know what? Yeah, I think you're cooking.
No.
Now, if you got Chris Pratt, is Chris Pratt John?
You know
Carter?
what? If Netflix does it.
Is Chris Pratt the modern day John Carter kicking ass?
All right, moving on.
The Terminator?
Thank you. It's one of those with the Jurassic. It's the highs are highs and the lows are lows. But people are turning out to it. I think it's got the advantage of. I think parents are okay with seeing ultra violence, with their kids seeing ultra violence on the screen, because there is a level of disconnect because it's a dinosaur, and like I think kids know it's a dinosaur, and for the same reason that Jaws was PG rated when that came out, and you see people get ripped to shreds in Jaws. So I mean, you see some pretty gruesome deaths in Jaws as well. So I mean, it's maybe the same thing. It's like, well, it's a really kind of a. It's not like a guy with a knife hacking people up. It's an animal. I think people know that.
Right. So, give the dinosaurs knives.
Ooh,
Velocipaster.
Bold.
So that's. I'm not surprised they're making money. I mean, we always talk about on this show is like, what's the drop off week 2 going to be? That's the real question, and I think it's going to be a pretty massive drop off.
I think Jurassic World. I think Jurassic anything has staying power, unfortunately, because the masses.
I don't
just love this movie.
I mean, you can do a real character study here. is, do you think Superman Week 1, if you want to just play the domestic game, do you think domestically, Week 1, Superman beats out Jurassic Park Week 2?
Yes.
Domestically, yes.
Yes. I think it's
Yeah.
going to crush it worldwide. I think everything's going to crush it.
So I think Superman is. I think this version of it. There's so much curiosity built up behind it. Even though it's a superhero movie, even though it's a Superman movie, I think that there's a lot of people that are excited to maybe see this
There's
done.
a lot riding on this.
So I do think it's going to beat it domestically. I don't know about worldwide, but I think domestically.
Well, that's why I said domestic is,
I don't think
more fair.
I don't think it's going to be a thumping though. I think it's going to be close. I think it'll be like like a 60 million versus 40 million. It's not going to be a huge difference.
Let's use this as a barometer then. I mean, just because so we can look at something next week. This just did 91.4. What do you think Superman's opening domestic numbers will be?
66, 68.
You think that's domestic for Superman? I mean,
You
I'll
just
write it down. I'm just curious. That's why
I have no say at this time. I'll make my decision come like Wednesday.
Okay.
Once I crunch all my numbers.
Seems like cheating, but all right.
Yeah, that seems like
look.
100% seems.
I have a system. I read stuff. We calculate stuff together. And
yeah. You listen.
Look, I've been pretty good.
Yeah,
just saying.
Yeah, I'm guessing like 60 is where
it'll probably be higher than that.
I'm guessing.
Look, I wouldn't be surprised if it breaks 100.
Yeah,
domestic. That's a lot.
Well, it's a lot riding on this.
Look, Superman is a very American hero.
He really is.
He is the most American hero. I mean, let's be honest.
No, that's Captain America.
Yeah,
I understand your point.
I mean, he's the most. Yeah, sure. But anyway, it's it's a tough call. I mean, people are gonna love it. I mean, there's a lot riding. I mean, this is the deep breath before the plunge for DC. I mean, we're getting a little out of the weeds of Jurassic Park and into DC, but I mean, I wondered why Superman didn't try to hit the July 4th and give Jurassic Park the July 11th. I wondered why that didn't happen.
Because they're probably afraid of it.
I imagine so.
If you're Warner Brothers, Warner Discovery, whatever they're calling themselves these days, and Jurassic Park has had that slated for 2 years, why would you even try? Just slide back a week.
Plus, looking at the track record of the Jurassic series, and it makes money. Whether they're good or not, they make money. So,
agreed.
I mean, the stats will show you that for sure. So,
yeah.
But as far as
big giant dinosaurs or big giant robots, they'll make money.
So going into the franchise a little deeper is what always surprised me about World and Jurassic Park was Jurassic Park after the second one was kind of aimless. Like the third one, I don't think the story really didn't rely on the first two, except that there were dinosaurs and that people had visited the islands. And again, we're thinking that I am kind of bewildered that we've done 7 movies now based on the hubris that humans think they can do it. Dinosaurs and evolution will beat you every single time. It's that to me is like a weird, because it doesn't make any sense, because any film professor would tell you've got to do different things in sequels to make it interesting. Well, obviously that's not always true, but I mean, we're still going on the island to get this. We're going on the island to get Jurassic Park. They were looking to exploit dinosaurs. Lost World, they were going to go bring them back and exploit dinosaurs. The third one, they were going to that was a rescue mission, wasn't it?
The third one, yeah.
The third one, but they were there. Someone was there to collect the eggs. At least that's what it turned into.
Got to make some money too.
Yeah, and then 4 again, trying to profit off dinosaurs.
4 is, hey, remember all that shit we did before? No, we did it right this time.
That's the point.
Except we did it with an active volcano.
See,
which
for
comes
me,
into play the next time.
For me, it's the world shtick for me was always Owen and Blue, the raptor, because I thought that was interesting. Can you domesticate a raptor? And I like him his relationship with Blue, and then Blue ultimately saving the humans in the end and remembering. They almost did the How to Train Your Dragon with the hand on the. They tried that, and it. I mean, that would have been cheesy as fuck if they had done that. Just a few years after.
Is Chris Pratt's Owen just the raptor version of the Tiger King?
Maybe, for sure. It's funny you bring that up, because Owen in the newest film, I think they split his character between the scientist and Scarlett Johansson. Again, we've seen that a number. We were seeing that more often these days. We saw Gladiator 2 as well. They split they split a successful character into two main characters in a subsequent film.
We always have a certain trope of characters that end up in Jurassic Park, right?
Yeah.
Like we always have sleazy business guy.
Mhm.
Always.
Mhm.
Always wears a white suit in the fucking jungle.
Oh yeah.
Always. Okay.
Yeah.
There's always some asshole like that. We always have some like navigator guy, like in this one, Mahershala, because this is his boat. And we always have nerdy scientist man. This guy's not quite super nerdy and actually fairly athletic as well, which is nice. Like he can handle himself a little bit.
Nice change of pace.
Yeah. It seems like a natural evolution for scientists. Because, look, scientists can also go to the gym.
True.
Just saying, they can. And, we also have stupid family caught up in dinosaur shit. Because, we always have stupid family caught up in dinosaur shit. For whatever reason, it just keeps happening. And, I kind of feel bad for these people in this movie for just a little bit, right? Because, one, they're trying to do some transatlantic trek on a sailboat. Dumb as hell.
Crazy.
But whatever. Live your life. I don't care. Get attacked by dinosaurs in the middle of the ocean.
Yep.
Which makes zero sense at all. But
I mean, they kind of explain it, but still, it's like,
but
look at you. And then they quote get saved by the rescue mission to be brought to Death Island.
Death Island.
Well, I mean,
that's what they call them at in what, the second one?
Yeah. Well, we've in the subsequent films we've known that the dinosaurs can't go past the islands that they're on, so it's kind of a natural barrier. And then in this one, the T-Rex just starts swimming. I'm like, you can't just do that.
It's a deep-ass river.
You can't just retcon. T-Rexes couldn't do that. At least, I mean, we've never seen evidence.
So, that's where you get to the thing. Is maybe they can.
Maybe they can.
Yeah,
maybe
sure.
They can.
Fine.
So I know T-Rex. I know the T-Rex, the Tyrannosaurus can swim. Do you want to know how I know this? Land Before Time. They swam in that too.
Oh my!
True.
Oh yeah.
So it makes complete sense to me in my brain. Sure. By the way, the first Land Before Time movie is a better movie than any other Jurassic Park besides the first one. Just saying.
I have no rebuttal to that.
I have no notes.
Yeah, I would say it's a pretty strong. That's
probably
also
right.
That's also a Spielberg product.
And sad as shit.
The first one.
Spielberg.
I could listen. I don't know if I'd go back and watch it. I'd cry like a baby.
I haven't seen that since I was a kid.
Littlefoot.
That first one. Well, the first one especially because Littlefoot's mom dies and
right in the
music.
Rips.
I don't know.
Rips your heart out, man. Oh,
Did I tell you when I watched Brave Little Toaster with my daughter, and I was just like, I can't do this shit.
Yeah, Brave Little Toaster is a tough one.
I was like, fuck this, no.
Yeah, that's
I was
tough one.
Go ahead, keep watching.
That was my brother.
I gotta leave. I got stuff to do.
It's been real. It's been fun.
No,
man.
I
It's been
can't
real
do
fun.
this. No,
yeah. No.
Movie sad as shit. That blanket, just gone. Blanky. No, man.
Brave Little Toaster was my brother's favorite kids movie when he was real young. So I watched a lot of that one.
Just excellent movie.
Oh yeah,
Can't, no. As a dad,
yeah. Land Before Time. Yeah, I forgot about.
Aren't
that.
there 35?
There's 74 of them now. Yeah,
there's a lot.
I know. Last time I saw it, legitimately, they're in the 20s or something.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Well, they must keep making money, or they wouldn't keep making them. So
I mean, do they though? Because now they're all, for a long time they were straight to VHS.
Yeah, now they're just straight to Netflix, right? Or something like that,
or some streaming service. Does Disney own those, or what company is that?
I have no idea, honestly. Again, I haven't looked into it because I can't watch that first. I think my 7-year-old would love that series. I might have to bring that back.
Have your wife do it.
So
yeah, I'll make her watch
it. Back to Jurassic.
So it was originally a Universal property, but it's changed hands 4 times.
Interesting.
I mean, look, I just want to find out how many Land Before Time movies there are.
Yeah, I mean, Big Water's a good big. No, I can't do that. But yeah, good movies, a lot of fun, way better than what we just watched. Grayson, you know what I mean?
There were 14 movies.
Oh my lord!
The last one came out on June 14th, 2016. From 1988 to 2016.
Jesus.
So I guess that one was not profitable.
What a run.
Yeah.
What a run.
What a run.
Yeah.
Good for them. You know what I mean? Yeah, I might have to see if my wife can fire up the first one and watch it without me so I can't get destroyed emotionally. And then I'll watch 2 on with them. You know what I mean?
But what if those destroy you emotionally? You don't even know.
Because I don't remember enough past the first one.
I remember 1 through 4 pretty well, and the first one it's just because of just how sad it is when his mom dies. It's bad.
Littlefoot,
It's,
man. His
yeah.
mom dies right in the beginning.
Well, didn't the one little girl like that?
No. I'd rather not talk about that.
Yeah,
but yes,
like that's
you
not
are
great
correct.
at all.
Yeah, but that's not something that my kids ever need to know till they're older, so that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, that
Wait.
has nothing to do with the actual movies.
Oh, okay, fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, back to Jurassic, the park and world.
Yeah,
I guess I didn't. I was a little
Back to what we're
surprised when I
talking
saw this. I was a little surprised when because like I don't even. I thought they were done with this, and I think Roger, you have a similar kind of feeling. Is like I thought Dominion put a nice little bow on it. It brought all the actors back. It kind of gave us a farewell to the Jurassic franchise. It made a lot of money. It came and went for 1993 to 2018. Dominion was 2020, something like that.
it had to be 2020.
Yeah, I think Fallen Kingdom was
No,
2018.
It should be sooner though, right? It'd have been
It was
20.
21,
I was
right?
like 21 or 22.
2022.
Oh yeah, so just
So-
3 years ago.
Yeah,
So I'm surprised. I don't understand why they want it. I don't understand why they want to do it again because money, but this one won't make the money that those did.
It's already, here's the thing though. It's already in the profit margin though. It's already in the green
Yeah.
after 1 week.
If it costs you 150 million to make, and if it costs you 150 and then budgeting another 75, so you're sitting at 225 and you're at 314 right now, is that a big enough?
It's gonna make 5. It's not
Yeah,
gonna. It's not
it'll-
done making
it'll
money.
keep
It's
going.
week 1.
But the
No,
other
sure,
thing is,
sure.
you know,
I get that.
your point's not wrong though, because like I've said this a while ago. Like Jurassic Park is a franchise that I enjoy, and it's one of the ones that needs to like go away for a while.
Yeah.
Doesn't have, listen, it's not permanent. Doesn't have to be permanent, but like we should see the next Jurassic Park movie in 2030.
Yeah.
Right. 5 years. Put that shit in a box for 5 years.
5 years isn't long enough. I don't think.
No, it
It's
needs
as
to go away
long
for
as
a
I
while.
could reasonably.
I think 2030 would have been the call at 2022 when Dominion came
Well, sure,
out. You know what
but
I mean?
like I have to look at it now is somebody will always be like, we need a Jurassic Park movie. And I think 5 years from now is the longest you could hold that off. You know what I mean? Is the
guess.
longest you can like reasonably like tell whoever owns the rights, like Universal with the executives, like we don't need something, we don't need something, we don't need something. Because eventually somebody's like, get out the dinosaurs. You know, get them out. Get them out. And
Sure.
We need to make a Billy. How do we do it? We got Jurassic Park.
you know, it's time.
It's time.
It's time.
And I'm sure these movies. I mean, these movies for some of the people at Universal, the way they think because of their position, are like is a gateway to sell more toys as
Sure,
well.
of course.
Yeah,
Well, that's the
absolutely.
thing too. Is like it opens up because one, it is a big, you know, a big children's franchise. It brings a lot of toys in, a lot of other media kind of things, that sort of stuff. It's very successful with their theme parks, you know, that kind of stuff. Jurassic Park, besides the movies, is very successful.
Well, the movies are successful.
Sure, but you know, like
They're not
they have
critically acclaimed.
outside profit to make.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, like every time a Disney movie or an Avengers movie comes out, it's not just an Avengers movie. Well, there's a whole other line of comic books, a whole other line of action figures, a whole other line of this.
You got
and that,
you got a Happy Meal toy.
yeah,
also.
and
Yeah.
you know, there's always something like that. So,
Yeah.
All right, I think
Your list makes a lot of sense from the caliber of film I've seen. I think that it's interesting how the movies drop from 90 to 70 then down to 50s and lower after that, and it makes sense after seeing them. You know, I haven't seen a Jurassic Park film that's wowed me in a long time. World was fine, but to me it's not like a great film. You know, it's nothing like the original Jurassic Park was. And I kind of remember being a kid and going from watching the first one to watching Lost World and going, huh, and like really not being entertained or liking as much as I liked the first one. And like I was young enough to really start to understand. Oh, so just because it's the second one, it's not going to be a better one, kind of deal.
World always felt to me like a good restart,
Yeah.
like a good place where they had been gone for a while, and then came back and was like, okay, you know, we took some of the stuff, we made some of it canon, pushed some of it away, you know, enough to where people were like, oh yeah, we're on the same island.
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of cool. You know, like we perfected it. We've been doing this for a while. Like the idea behind that, I enjoy.
Yeah.
And then like that movie's okay. You know, like made a bunch of money, decent story,
Great cast.
good star power.
Yeah.
All jokes aside, but it works, right? And then the follow-ups to those movies are just not good.
Yeah.
And they have another one 3 years later that's also not very good.
Yeah.
It's like, what are we doing here?
Speaking of,
Speaking of, indeed, it is time. it is time on this episode, episode 37, the movie of the week. Let's go right into it. Jurassic World Rebirth.
Sorry.
Yeah. Jurassic World Rebirth. And I want to do something kind of weird, but after I so I'm going to do the Rotten Tomatoes. So have you guys seen the tomato meter for this and the Metacritic?
Nope.
No.
So the tomato meters are very predictable, 52, and the popcorn meter, 72.
Okay.
People love dinosaurs,
I
man.
get it.
I mean, I do understand that much of it.
I think it's lower than I thought. I would think that the audience score would be, but also we are a more informed audience than ever, so that makes sense.
The Metacritic is sitting at a 52, which I mean,
I don't believe that at all.
The Metacritic is a 52, so that is what it is. I
like,
think
look,
it's tad high, but
fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
You tell me it's a 4 or 5, I'm gonna nod and agree.
I'm not gonna fight with you about.
So I want to ask you guys, because we just looked at that list. Where would your initial reaction slot Rebirth into?
Like, what do you mean?
Like, where would you put it on a list of 1 to 7? Where was your initial knee jerk? My initial knee jerk reaction was number 7 by far.
I'd have to go back and watch Dominion again. Dominion being the cash grab emotional manipulation that it is with the characters they brought back in the moments that they gave them. It definitely feels like cheap nostalgia bait that is just trying to play off the heartstrings of the fans of the franchise and grind their emotional connection to the films to make some easy money. However, after saying all that, I think it's probably better than this one. But less manipulative, I guess. This movie just feels like they didn't try. Like, this one feels like the least solid attempt at a film out of all of them. Like, the plot, the through line, the story, the motivations across all clusters of creativity. This thing is just, I don't know, like, it's the definition of smooth brain, right? There's not a wrinkle here to give any interest. So I'd probably put this one on the bottom, in my opinion.
Well, you Roger.
7.
7.
Yeah. So for me, it's 6 out of 7. Which, I think I alluded to this earlier.
Yeah.
We were talking beforehand, and
I
was chided for not making it the worst.
I will be more
Jurassic Park
collected.
films.
I will be more collected this time, sir. I assure you.
It's like, here's the thing. Like, this movie, it's not very good. I just think there's another Jurassic Park movie that's worse. And how dare I bring that to the table?
Yeah, but which one do you think is worse? Because that's not what Rotten Tomatoes is saying.
I don't give a shit about Rotten Tomatoes.
I mean, Rotten Tomatoes does say that, though.
Well, no, but like
Rotten Tomatoes legitimately says that.
Well, sure, it does, but Dominion is not the one we say. We always talk about Fallen Kingdom being the worst.
Fallen Kingdom is the worst. That's the one I believe is the worst.
I wouldn't argue with you, but that's not the one that's far worse. I mean, Dominion is ranked far worse than.
I mean, that's fine.
Ranked worse is different than what we think of it critically, though. So
sure,
but I mean,
look, but at least those movies had a through line.
I'm not going to stand for number 6 on the list, though.
Yeah,
fight
for it, Roger.
If you want to say one of the movies is worse, that's fine, dude.
Yeah.
I don't even care. It's just, I just personally don't think that this is the worst. I personally think it's the second worst, which is also still very fucking bad. Like, let's just establish that. It's not like, it's not like I gave somebody a silver medal. I didn't do that.
Chris, if you could bring us in the countdown.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So what do we think of this movie, guys? Thumbs up or thumbs down in 3, 2, 1. Oh, wait! I'm sorry. My thumb's wrong. There we go. Yeah.
I was supremely
it's bad. It's just not very good. And even I don't hate this movie, right?
Interesting.
But
no,
I don't hate it. It's this thing is though, as I understand why it's not very good. Like nothing new happens in this movie. Mm-hmm. Nothing we haven't seen before. We do get a weird alien dinosaur hybrid predator.
The predatory Rex.
Yeah.
The predalien, yeah.
And we do get to see somebody swallowed whole. Grace, you want to make that noise?
No, man.
Do it. No.
Make your hot dog noise, Grayson.
We do see somebody like that, but every single thing we have happen in this movie, we basically had happen in another Jurassic Park movie before, for better or for worse, generally for the worse. And cast wise, we have some serious star talent in this movie.
I agree.
And a lot of it is just wasted.
This movie should be from a star power level
On paper, it should work.
should be better than what it is. And this movie feels from start to finish devoid of all creativity. Like, the reason why I disagree with you, but I understand where you're coming from about the Fallen Kingdom thing and even Dominion. I feel like Dominion, even because I think Dominion's the second worst one, but I think Dominion has more, like, they had to think about and figure out how to get key characters that we've known and loved into the same place.
Okay.
That took more effort and more work, story writing and creativity wise, even though it's bad, to get them to have the sequence that happens than whatever they did with this film. This film is hand wavy, happenstancey. It's devoid and lacks all creativity. I can't find a single redeeming quality about this movie after seeing it. Like, I was kind of pumped. I was pumped a little bit for it after the trailers. You know, Scarlett Johansson is in it. Mahershala Ali's in it. I mean, you've got Mahershala Ali as a fucking jungle commando, and you've got Scarlett Johansson, you know, looking like Laura Croft. How can this fail? You know what I mean? It's like, you have two just stars in a Jurassic Park movie. Well, it kind of fails on all counts to me. It's just, again, if this feels like the most phoned in thing from all angles, acting wise, character writing wise, story plot wise, and everything in between. It's a bunch of shoulder shrugging and hand waving. I don't know. I can't get on board with this movie and what it is.
That's fair.
I also cannot. And I'll tell you, it's just when I kept returning to the thought in my head when I was watching this that it just seemed, again, you have two heavy hitters, serious contenders for like some of the best performers we've had on screen in a while, in Scarlett Johansson and Mahershala. Certainly Mahershala, maybe a little more than Scarlett Johansson, but it seemed to me like they were that the producers approached them and they said, you want to be in this? And then they kind of like scooted in a piece of paper with a number written on it, which was what they wanted. And they agreed. And then they just did the movie because they got what they wanted. And I never felt like, yes, that guy really wanted to be here. Or I never felt like either one of them were like fully in their head committed to the roles they were playing. It just seemed like the rest of the movie, it seemed like such a phoned in, a generic, or maybe it was Universal's like, could we make a movie that's written by AI and it actually work and make money on it? Maybe it was. I mean, it seems so lazy and just so lackadaisical that I didn't care about anything in this movie. And I'm the guy that when there's a guy on screen talking about a dead kid and his wife left him because, like, I'm the guy who's always like, whoa, we have a movie here, folks. Or with the, it just never grabbed me in the way that it should have. And I'm the three of us, the one that would have been grabbed by that. So I'm disappointed on multiple levels because I went into this thing thinking this is going to be a disappointment, and it was a disappointment. So I guess that's where I'm sitting. I never felt like any of them wanted to be there. I just never felt like it.
I think the one thing that I would like to see before we get any other Jurassic Park projects is, like, I want somebody to establish the real lore for Jurassic Park. And the thing is, and like, I don't mean that as a joke. Right.
I know you don't.
Like, I don't want it to be like, hey, this is a 43rd island research facility that we've had fucking hidden and nobody knows about.
Yeah.
Like, how many times are we going to go down that fucking storyline?
It's not. You're right, but like, I side because they keep changing like the history and the lore of what's happening just to fit whatever they're doing next in the films. Because like they talk about, the dinosaurs are dying off now because they can't survive, but like. Nothing about that. Like, it's not an evolutionary issue, so they could live just fine up until a certain point. Like, it just, that alone, that one detail doesn't make sense. But then you have everything else, like the whole equator thing, and
dinosaurs like to be warm. Shocking.
No, what they talk about is because of the oxygen shit, and like, that's not the only place that has like dense oxygen. Can I Google that for you? But like, it's almost like they didn't even bother to do that. And then here's the other thing about the why does the oxygen level matter in the air to the amphibious or the completely water, like the seafaring dinosaur. Tell me why that dinosaur can't swim to any other part of the ocean that it wants to, but it's got to be by the island.
Even you can handle it and be like, hey, look, they prefer to be in temperature, hot water.
Cool.
Like,
there's other places.
Well, sure, I get that, but like that's all I have to say. Be like, hey, look, but they're commonly here, and sometimes they're over there, and like that's it.
Yeah.
And somebody be like, that makes sense.
It's like it's those.
Oh
things.
Shit, they're in the Gulf of America again.
Yeah. But like it's like you're saying, like, you know, yet we have another research facility that's 17 years ago, but that's confusing because like everything happened 31 years ago.
Why don't we just use numbers like 20 and 15?
Yeah,
like
17.
If you're just making shit up at this point,
well, like
make it like, or give me a real date and be like October 19th, 2009.
Yeah,
because at least then I'm gonna be like, whoa,
they're so
16 and a half years ago. Like I don't have to fucking think about that shit.
Yeah, but they also say things like, like south of the Galapagos.
Yeah,
can you actually 99% of the United States or anyone watches can't just know where that is off the top of their head? That does nothing for me. Say east of Europe. You know what I mean? Do something. But it's just I don't know. Like all of these things.
Why don't they just keep using Costa Rica?
Right?
Like there's so many islands. Never mind. I'm not doing fucking geography today. I'm not doing it. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. It goes to what you said though about like establishing the goddamn lore, but they just keep. Then they can't change it to fit what crappy movie script they have.
Well, you're probably right, but I think they could change it if they wanted to, right? Because like, look, you can take lore. Well, you can take lore.
Yeah.
And you can just add to it, obviously, right? Like you could be like, well, hey, so since then we've done X, Y, or Z. You can do that.
Yeah.
They're like, look, don't do that.
They're kind of doing that, though.
Every time they write a script, they just kind of do it.
We have a predator dinosaur this time.
We have a predator, and like, what happened to like, what I thought was really funny about this movie? Is like there's a dinosaur walking down the street in fucking New York, and everybody's just sort of pissed because they're late for work.
In the way, yeah.
It's the size of a goddamn building.
Again, a completely wasted sequence. I mean, they're trying to tell you that they're trying to reinforce the narrative that people are sick of it. It's normal. People no longer want to pay to see them. They don't care. That's what they tried to reinforce. But man, that was an expensive way to do that.
I made the comment to my wife today too while we were watching this film.
You saw it today?
Yesterday. Sorry.
Gotcha.
So we made a comment to her while we were watching it that do you remember where he walks up to the Titanosaur and is just standing there beside it? I was like, that's a dumbass way to die.
Oh, yeah.
Like just stand up and I want to touch it. And all of a sudden, like it just steps on you.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't even flinch.
Yeah.
Or it flicks you with its tail and launches you 1,000 feet. It doesn't even know
you're there.
Like,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
Like he's stepping on trucks.
Yeah. them tails on those dinosaurs, they seem very whippy. Yeah, and I feel like you would be cut in half if it snapped its tail the wrong way.
Explode. Like a whip would hit you.
That's part of my problem with this movie is a sequence like that. I thought that was actually one of the better sequences because it was it had the music from which I thought it was. I don't like it when movies like this use better music from a better movie to like, oh, remember you like this, right? You remember that. Is they recreated some of the iconic scenes from the first one, which maybe they were trying to like they did the Star Wars thing. It's poetry. It like rhymes. Remember, it's poetry. Where they tried to get it, like they tried to match. Like this one's again going to be the first one, and then the second one's gonna be Lost World. Like it just they tried to put two of the elements, the first two films in this is with the park, and like it's already run down, and they're coming back to it at a later date. But like that was the Dr. Grant moment where we look up and we and we see the herd of dinosaurs, and they recreated it, and then they recreated the raptors chasing the kids in the kitchen. But this time it was like a convenience store, and it just
all I'm hearing is you hate dinosaurs falling in love.
I don't. However, I don't.
They're definitely loving that scene.
That seems. Oh yeah, sure. And I don't hate them falling in. Look, dinosaurs gotta have love too, man. I'm all about it.
I have thought for a second when someone said, now's a good time while they're distracted. I thought they were
just going at it.
I was like, I don't know.
All right, this is Jurassic Park took a real turn. We got some dino on dino love going.
Just hear like off screen.
I guess back to my point is like, I don't like the borrowed moments because I mean we didn't forget about it. Like those first movies are seared into our brain at this point. It seems like to me that's just a cheap way to try to build a connection bridge with your audience.
Well, so like here's the thing: if the movie's better, I don't think we give that as much criticism. If the movie's better, I think we actually use those as like the praise moments because you're right; those parts are seared into our brains. But like again, the movie takes what we know and like and throws it in there with this veneer of shit over it. You know what I mean? Like, and we can see through it, but we can definitely see that there's crap all over the screen. Take the avian version of the velociraptors that show up or whatever, the abominations that A, aren't nearly as cool as velociraptors, don't even try, and B, like their introduction is during a comedic relief scene, right? Like, when you watch the original Jurassic Park, which I have recently, like the raptors were introduced as this off-screen, rarely seen monster. This terrifying thing that is all it means is you're dead if they're around, right? That's what the velociraptors
If you hear
were.
them, it's too late.
Exactly. Where this movie and like they introduce these things to you while the shitty boyfriend's taking a piss and use it as a comedy ha-ha moment. And it's like now I'm not scared of these things. I want to know why they didn't eat him. That's all I want to know.
I wonder how he was able to stop peeing during that, because like I just would have peed all of it.
I think the joke is that he got so scared he had to pee again.
Oh yeah, I just would have peed my pants.
I mean, that's essentially what they were saying he did. But again, it's on a character I don't care about, a character that you've made me not like, and then confused me with other stuff that I think they couldn't decide how they wanted that character to play out in the end.
Character that only does one redeeming thing the whole movie.
Yeah, and then introduce me to a force that you want to elicit nostalgia from one of the greatest monster movie suspense moments of all time in a way that is just cheap and doesn't feel like it's committed to for any other reason than remember this. I don't know.
Member berries.
It all kind of just stacks up as negatives because of the care that went into the rest of this movie. Whereas otherwise, I think we would give it some praise for it, but they didn't do anything positive with the tools they had, and they just threw a movie through a grinder and then tossed it on screen. Is what it feels like.
Whatever popped out is what popped out.
That's a really good segue, though. It's like, let's talk characters for a second. I couldn't tell you I liked one of these characters. After the movie was done, I didn't care for any of them. Not one of them.
I couldn't tell you their names.
Every single character, besides the little girl, and kind of little girl, I'll get into that in a second. Every single character has, I can't think of a single redeeming or positive quality about these characters that make me want to attach to any of them. Nothing.
I have no problem with Sailboat Dad Guy.
Sailboat Dad Guy brought his family on an extremely dangerous.
Oh no, he's dumb.
Yeah, he's an
but
idiot.
A lot of people are dumb.
Yeah, but he's really dumb. Like, get your kids killed, dumb.
Yeah, that's really dumb. That's a cardinal sin, man. You can't. And your daughter's boyfriend.
Well, he says he's done it before.
That guy deserves to die. But like, it's like he takes his kid. Yeah, he says they've done it before. All that means is he did it twice. All that means is he's put his family in danger twice. They're sailing near the illegal islands that no one's allowed to sail near. They, takes them into a part of the ocean where they can get attacked by dinosaurs. Not all his fault, but kind of his fault. And all of this for what reason? Because I have one last hurrah because his daughter's going to college. Okay, cool.
Why'd you bring the creepy boyfriend?
Again, a plot line that okay, so outside of one sequence, does that ever matter again? Outside of the boyfriend jumping overboard without any regard for his own safety to protect her, does that ever matter again?
I think that goes against the character that they make, because I think that's the only time he shows real bravery in the whole thing. And like, I think it was just there to make you feel juxtaposed about what you think about him.
About hating him, because you don't hate him so much.
Yeah, because they introduce him as this character you love to hate already, right off the rip.
Well, he's a bro. He's a Chad. That's what he is. He's
not. That's not what that is. That's not what that is. But it's just they do that, and it doesn't feel like something that character would do. And I say that because the movie shows me before that and after that it's just not what the character does. So I don't understand why in that moment they do for any other reason, just to make you feel conflicted about liking him or not.
There's a lot of things in this movie though that are like that, where
Yeah.
they look like things are all going one way, and then something out of the ordinary happens, but then it doesn't really make too much of a difference later on.
Yeah.
Because, like, continue with the family for a second. When they're on the river, okay, when in one of the dumbest fucking sequences I've ever seen in a Jurassic Park film, which is saying a lot, by the way.
That's true.
They're trying to paddle down the stream, which I understand, and then we find out that a T-Rex can swim, which is something we'd already seen in the trailer, so it wasn't too much of a surprise.
Land Before Time tells us they can.
Yeah, but we end up with a little girl stuck underneath a plastic raft, a plastic riverboat raft that this Tyrannosaurus couldn't bite through.
Yep.
Like,
weird.
Why?
Yeah.
Why can't he bite through it?
Yep. Can I
Like,
go?
who gives a shit if he tears the raft up?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Just then they have nothing to float on. Then they have nothing to
Who
float on.
gives a shit?
Well, I mean, they
Back
do.
back
the
to hiking,
filmmakers-
baby.
Well, no, the filmmakers did, because they're like, oh, well, how are they going to get from there to there?
Well,
so that's
yeah.
that's absolutely ridiculous.
Well, that's absolutely another part of this movie too. Is like, we understand where they're trying to get to. They're trying to follow the pipes, the geothermal pipes, from one part of the island to the other. How big is this fucking island?
Yeah, right.
Okay, because
how big are these pipes?
They get on this island at, like, let's call it roughly noon, the day that they get rescued.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the day that they get off the boat. Okay, they get there, and they hike overnight, following this path into the next day, into the next night.
Yep.
So basically, 36 hours they walked to get across this island. How big is this island?
I mean, they probably travel close to 50 miles, but I mean, it's tough terrain. So, but still,
they don't climb.
Right.
The other people climb a whole mountain.
Yeah.
And, like, they teleport.
Well, because they
teleport up a cliff face.
They can't climb because they have a little girl. Like the little girl's what bothers me, because that's plot armor to the family. They are surviving stuff that people in other. Yeah. Way more able people in other films didn't survive. That's again why I don't like it. This movie doesn't talk to the other movies at all either. That's another huge problem.
Let's talk about teleporting for a second, just because you brought it up. Tell me, besides the fact because jump scare monster movie thing, can you tell me why the T-Rex, when it wakes up from its mat, teleports
away? Yeah.
But you noticed that, right? Like
the
raft comes up and then it's gone. Poof, like a fucking parlor magic trick. Like, there's no way this thing rolled, got up, walked silently without a sound through the fucking bushes to appear somewhere. Like, stop it! Why?
It's just bad filmmaking.
You want more teleporting?
Yeah.
How about this magical, like, carved out cave of ruins they find that takes them from the top of the cliff immediately to the bottom?
Like,
you forget about that when he falls.
Like, I saw that, I'm like, okay, what is this? Are we not going to talk about this at all, Gareth Edwards? Like, is the movie not going to explain? So, so are we supposed to just assume that is, of course, remains from some culture that is now
tribe?
Gone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, okay, sure, but the movie doesn't even bring it up. The scientist doesn't say anything about it. No one says a goddamn thing about it.
In the time that Scarlett Johansson rappels down the cliff, they take the stairs.
Yep.
It's just odd, man.
Can I talk about how the youngest daughter's an asshole?
Sure. She takes a Dolores.
Yeah.
Who else fucking names it Dolores?
Well, hold on. But the movie just established for us that these dinosaurs will die because they can't breathe our air. They have to breathe the equator air, which
I don't
doesn't
think
make
the
any
kid knew
sense.
that though, so I'll give her some credit.
But hold on. But Dad knows.
Okay, well, you're right.
You know what I mean?
I didn't consider that.
So we're just taking Dolores.
He says when she puts it in a backpack, he says something about it's either a great decision or a worse decision. Har har har.
Let's have a giant fucking monster in my house. But like,
I'm gonna take this T-Rex egg back to my trailer.
There it is. That's the next logical step.
Well, that was the second film.
I know. But why are we okay with this when the movie, like, why the movie makers? Why are we okay with this when we just said that the dinosaurs die when they're living, where we are?
It isn't. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why that happened.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Because the studio wanted a reason
to sell Dolores toys.
They wanted a reason to sell. Oh, but the kids can survive in a Jurassic World. It's like, shut the fuck up. No one, Men with Guns in the second one couldn't survive. Like, no one. The point of the first, the thematic resonance of the first two films is when we intermingle, we fail because we die. That's what I don't like about young kids being involved. I mean, the young kids in the first one were involved, but in a way that they were always in mortal danger. And there was several scenes where, like, they may not have survived. Aside from the fact that it's a Spielberg film, PG-13, they may not have. I never once thought that the family was in any real danger in this film. Did you think that?
Well, no. And yeah, I agree with you. They weren't. And that also, but like all these other able-bodied commando style people are, like, everyone that dies in this, and only like 4 people died of dinosaurs and 6 people total, because if you count the helicopter. So our body count's low, which you don't have to have a lot of murder and death for a good movie, but like it doesn't make sense that, our lost family with, shitty boyfriend make it through unscathed, but then you have these highly, prepared people that are the ones that are just dropping off like flies. And, I just don't get that. And then on top of it all, you have your pharmaceutical rep who's, untouchable, science guy who doesn't die. But like,
he gets beat up though.
He does, but we're also going to do this thing where, the pharmaceutical business guy has to be this big goony bad guy, to the point to where I hated the scene where the oldest daughter falls off the boat and then is screaming the whole time about the guy trying to murder her. That's not what I saw on screen.
Well, yeah, I mean, also because, she pushed him, and then immediately turns and slips and falls off the boat.
She pushed him, and all he did was stand there. Like, I know he was trying to get her to not call radio in. Shit move.
Does make sense in the story. They're not supposed to fucking be there.
I know. So, like, I get it. But, like, all he's trying to do is get her to not do that. She not overreacts, but reacts very emotionally, pushes the man who's like 1.5 feet taller than her because she can't. She falls off the boat. He falls down though, and then he sits up and she's like, "Help me," and then falls off. Yeah. But it's like,
then she was like, "He didn't save me." I'm like, no, he didn't.
Well, but here's the thing: no one would have in that scenario because they were assaulted.
So it's just, but like,
he's not right next to her and just watching her fall.
Yeah,
off the boat
but he didn't walk up to her and fucking scar to Mufasa her either.
Yeah, throw her off the edge.
Yeah, but like the way the movie plays it out is like this guy, like, oh, he absolutely tried to murder her, blah blah blah. Like, then just have that be what happens. Don't do this weird thing where like that's kind of like. I don't think her argument would hold up in a court of law if it was videotaped.
It's putting modern day politics into it, and I don't. Again, I like to avoid that because it's using where we are in 2025 to really drive a point home. That
I don't even know if that's the case. I think it's just some dumb kid got pissed she fell off a boat.
Well, yeah, but the movie wants you to side with
the movie drives it home the whole time that like this guy's an asshole and like he really did almost try to kill her, but it's like
like Thanos,
actually show me that.
Like Thanos, hashtag, he didn't really do anything wrong.
No, don't get me wrong. The guy's an asshole, and the guy probably would have let her die in any situation.
That was a joke.
But what the movie showed me isn't like what happened though, and it's like it's very hand wavy. It's very, hey, we're gonna tell you that this is a problem, so now it is a problem instead of like. Actually showing
all it is another reason for like when this guy inevitably dies exactly the way you think he's going to die. You're not surprised or care. But the other thing is, so like I have two things that I really want to bring up in this movie, okay? And things that have bothered me, or one of them bothered me, one of them I thought was funny.
Okay.
The one I thought was funny I'll lead with. Like, how about them driving around in the fucking Halo? The fucking Warthog from Halo.
Hell yeah, brother.
I was like, yeah, that's cool. And then the other thing that actually bothered me was like when the Dominus Rex or whatever it is. D-Rex, whatever they're calling it. How come the T-Rex doesn't show up to save them? Which is something we've seen before, which absolutely would fit this narrative.
It would probably cost too much money to animate that.
Well, can I?
I mean, they chose to give it an alien predator face instead of bringing in the T-Rex.
Well,
they made the wrong call.
Can I offer something? Can I offer a rebuttal?
Yeah,
sure.
Why
is it about the Warthog? Because no.
I agree with the question Roger's asking, and I would have actually been okay with that because one of the few things that has been consistent through all the films is the T-Rex's alpha ship might be challenged, but the T-Rex always reasserts it towards the end of the film.
It always comes to the fight at least.
Yeah.
And so that would have made sense as to why a certain character survives a situation which we think they're not going to survive. That in itself would make sense. That out of nowhere, the T-Rex comes and said, "Fuck you, buddy. I'm the," it's I'm the reason I'm getting worked up is because I hadn't even thought of that, Roger, and you're right. That's a question.
I thought about that immediately.
That should have been the script never should have made it. That should have been a draft where like, you need to fix this, and here's why.
I mean, we got our obligatory T-Rex with the raft scene, so we never get to see the T-Rex again, And
well, we for the first time in many Jurassic Park movies have a full-on scene with a T-Rex who doesn't end up fighting in another.
We don't get any dinosaurs really fighting each other besides the pigeon raptors coming in, picking up the actual raptors and eating it. But it, again, happens off screen. You don't see it because all we see is shitty boyfriend who I don't want to fucking stare at, center frame for more than 8.5 seconds.
Is it because of his dirt stash?
It's because of a lot of things. That's one of them. And then but like we don't see an actual like set of dinosaurs fight it out on screen, which is fucking rad. Why don't we get to see that?
Yeah.
What do you want in Jurassic Park movies? Fucking dinosaurs fighting.
Yes.
Well, we've gotten it before, which makes me question why we didn't get it. And I didn't even ask that question. I didn't even hold that as a negative because I hadn't even thought about it. There were so many other negatives ahead of it that like I hadn't even. That's the one question. That's the big question is I didn't even ask that one because I was so upset about everything else. You're right about the T-Rex. So damn it, that's a nail right in the head, Roger. Why didn't the T-Rex come in? Because that would make sense. Because the T-Rex is the alpha in the dinosaur world, and all the dinosaurs that we make. Again, that would go with theme of humans intermingling, trying to force evolution. Evolution will win out. Natural evolution will win.
I mean,
that makes
even
sense.
if it's not technically the alpha, like it should be there for the challenge.
Of course.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you should be like, this is my fucking franchise, dog.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well,
I've been here for 7 movies, bitch. Where you been?
On top of all that, though, like even the D-Rex is in this for so little time. And and
it looks fucking horrible.
Oh, it does. But like I expected this thing to kind of be, at least more of a small presence earlier in the film, right? Like we get at the very beginning, which Snickers product placement out the fucking ass, whatever. And
I do love me a good Snickers.
I do, but
a billion-dollar, multi-billion-dollar research center undone by Snickers wrapper.
A Snickers wrapper, but so we see the Dominus Rex early on, very beginning, and then why not have I expected this thing to show up or to be causing some panic, some hate, some mayhem at like small points, and then leading up to when we see it, but like it's bookended,
like a trail of destruction,
or terrorizing or something. But like it bookends the film. It's at the beginning, it's at the end, and there's no reason in between for it to even be around. And that seems like such a strange choice to me. And and on top of that, it has it has 2 of the worst scenes in my opinion. I know, Roger, you're not quite on the same opinion as me and Grace on this, but like the product placement Snickers opening is a terrible scene.
Atrocious.
The fact that all that happens is out of this world stupid and just hand wavy. And then it has like the whole Mahershala character sacrifice that doesn't actually mean anything. It's like you have this thing bookending the film and 2 really shit scenes for different reasons bookending the film.
Well,
I just don't get it.
Let me accent what you're saying. Even worse with the Mahershala thing is they bring it up. His character backstory is that he's lost a child and then his marriage fell apart because they couldn't even look at each other without seeing their lost child.
Yeah.
And so it seemed when he did that, I was like, okay, this is the first thing in the movie that actually makes any sense. He's going to help the other kids escape to give them a chance and sacrifice himself.
Yeah.
He's already a broken guy. He's done. He knows it. Let him have his redemption arc. And then we have no idea how he escapes the Dominus Rex. No clue how he escapes. But I mean, again, I'm sorry if that's a spoiler. I'm sorry, but it's so ridiculous. It's so absurd.
Well, they do the whole thing where everyone's sad that he's dead. Oh my god! And then all of a sudden he's back. He's fine. Oh my god! And it's so cheap. It's very deflating. But
with no explanation at all how it happened.
Oh, not a single thing on what happened. But like, a big problem I had with that moment too, Grayson, is that by that point I didn't care. Like I wasn't
That's fair.
He was, he was kind of doing the whole, Jeff Goldblum thing, getting the thing's attention with the flare and running away with it. And I'm like, and then the music starts, and I'm just thinking, I don't care about this at all. Like, if he dies, he dies, is where I was at.
He dies.
Well, I was thinking that was one of the few interesting things that actually happened, and then it was immediately undone. And let me bring up another line of dialogue. I meant to bring up. I'm glad you brought the Snickers, because that was so absurd that immediately right off the bat you're starting with on an absurd note, and like, okay, this is what I'm in for. Great.
How much do you think Snickers paid for that? You know what I mean? Because
well, actually, it's funny. We talked about
they paid more or less than the Dr. Pepper people.
Well, if I could, so you know how we talked about F1's budget. I know a lot of those spots on F1, they got a lot of the budget. A good deal was recouped by ads or spots of things.
Yeah.
So like that, maybe Snickers paid quite a bit of money because I don't know. Anyway, it's the other thing I thought was interesting, and it came out of left field for me, was after the whole debacle with the boat. And again, we killed a character who I actually liked. The one character I thought was actually kind of cool. He died, gone.
The weapons guy.
The weapons guy.
Yeah. So
Ed Skirrin,
so I didn't know. I guess I never realized he was even in this movie. I don't remember seeing him specifically in any trailer.
You could have blinked and missed him.
Yeah, and then then the thing is, like, so when he comes out, he's like the security guy, and I'm like, hell yeah, like he's got some cool fucking guns. Talking about like this killer neurotoxin. He gets fucking yanked off a boat.
Done.
He's gone. We never actually see him die, but he's gone.
Oh, yeah.
And then no more fucking guns.
Yep.
All the guns are gone. All of them.
We get this moment after the boat's done, and we get this moment between the boyfriend and the father, who the whole levity between them, the whole movie is weird, because why would you ever invite your daughter's boyfriend on that trip? But and then he says something that kind of took me out of left field, is the dad's like, after she's done a courageous act to save his daughter, said, you know what, maybe I'm starting to see what she sees in you. And then he says something to the effect of, well, I hope she actually never does. Is that meaning? See, I took that as there's something more that we're going to dig into in the movie.
You think he was also a dinosaur?
Oh.
But he also, and then it goes nowhere. And Roger's suggestion actually was probably the right one, was, no, he's just acknowledging he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, he knows. He's
but
a person.
Then by doing that, the movie's then taking away any interest that I had that someone might have in that character after the movie's done, and be like, oh shit, we never even dug into that. So why put the line in at all?
Well,
why?
One thing that I would make sure we understand here is, say hypothetically that some of these characters will return in the Jurassic Park world at some point. Okay, that character is not one of them.
True.
Okay, like, just not. Other members of that family? No. Well, hold on.
No.
I can't necessarily say all of them, but like, I know for a fact that would not be the one that we ever see again.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Mahershala's character again, Scarlett Johansson's character, or the Doctor Guy's character at some other point in another Jurassic Park film. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. Anybody past that? Probably not. Yeah. And that kid, definitely not.
No. Yeah.
Like, he's just happy he's got an acting credit in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure, and good for him. Yeah, like, nothing against the actors, just the character's insufferable on purpose.
Yeah, he sucks.
But then made to be confusing, and then just has no fucking, like, exciting points or dialogue in the movie at all. Well, there's no exciting dialogue in the movie anyway, so I guess.
Well, no one really has any wherewithal at all in this movie.
I did enjoy when you shoot them and then it shoots off like a bottle rocket. I thought that text kind of neat.
The text.
So then the needle just stays in the dinosaur forever and hurts. I mean,
it doesn't hurt them.
I mean,
let's just assume.
I mean, it's kind of a pain. I mean, let me stick a needle in your skin, a small one, and you tell me how that feels for a day or two.
Well, I mean, that is what it is, but it's just it's
ridiculous. It's absurd plot line.
The needle and the tech is less absurd than the idea of we have to get blood from the live largest animals that exist, and it has to be
while they're alive.
Yeah, while they're alive, and immediately, otherwise the blood oxidizes. It's so much
done in movie 7. Where movies 1 through 6 all revolved around humans manipulating dinosaur DNA.
And
all of them.
Yeah, and trace DNA at that. Like, it's not even, it's fossilized DNA. But now we need it live. But it's fine.
Do you ever think we get a proper Jurassic Park like reboot, like all the way back to the beginning, or
No.
we never?
No,
will?
why
never
would
will.
you ever get rid of that
Well,
first
it's-
film in canon?
I don't know. I never would say it's off the table.
Well, I mean, so like, I mean, a reboot would be interesting if they do it right. I'd be okay with them modernizing that original
well,
film.
the thing is,
you
like,
know?
what year do you set that in? Do you set it in like say 2030,
I
or
mean,
do you set it
Well,
in
do you mean a
1995?
reboot? Do you mean a reboot of the first film, or like a?
No, I mean like restart the entire franchise like nothing had ever happened before.
or would you
just like hard
or would
reboot?
you-
Yeah, hard.
or would you do like a 35, 40 years later sequel to the first
No.
Jurassic Park?
No,
No.
not a sequel to
No,
it. That's
never
terrible.
again. Like just start like there was
We're-
never Jurassic
We're
Park.
getting sequels to Jurassic Park now. What do you mean?
But the other thing is, like, say hypothetically they took the original Michael Crichton novel.
Yeah.
Okay, the actual Jurassic Park. They made it a little bit darker. They actually didn't gender swap the kids' roles, that kind of stuff. Like, there's still a really good
Yeah.
Jurassic Park story there.
No, you're right.
Roger wants his rated R movie so bad that he's
No, it
willing
doesn't.
to-
Here's the thing: it doesn't have to be rated R, but it certainly could be.
It should be.
If you're going to tear the carpet up, you might as well fucking rip the studs out of the wall too.
And-
Like, why do we keep trying to reset the fucking thing? You don't think it would make money? I mean, what?
Hey.
Maybe assume it comes in at PG-13. Okay, it absolutely would make a ton of fucking money.
Hey.
Like, this movie's not even very good.
You and I know that it'll make money.
Yes,
Either way, but we know it'll make more money if it's PG-13
of course.
by our
yes.
own admission with horror films.
Yes.
It's just
It's just
how that works.
more if it does.
You
Yes.
know, is the movie better if it's rated R? Probably. You know, does it make more sense if it's rated R? Absolutely.
Well,
But
I think Wolverine
because of
Deadpool and Wolverine showed statistics that it is possible to make a ton of money with a rated R movie.
yeah. Again,
Would a Jurassic Park movie do it?
That's the thing. I don't know.
I mean, how can you tell me that the movie about alpha predators that we were seeing rip people to pieces wouldn't be better if they're able to actually show them getting ripped to pieces? Just like as we said, Wolverine makes more sense watching him massacre people on screen. How does that equate differently than your dinosaurs, your animal predators doing that?
Well,
I-
it's just not going to make the money. That's all.
I think legitimately, I can't tell you that it would make the money. I just can't be convinced that it wouldn't. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right.
Where I
Fair.
cannot
all I'm
certainly say
saying.
that it wouldn't make money, but
Yeah.
or that it would. It's just I have a hard time believing that people still wouldn't fucking show up for it.
Yeah, but and here's the thing. I just think the studios are the PG-13 version is too much of a sure thing for them to
Sure.
not like Deadpool.
Oh yeah, it's yeah.
Deadpool 1 and 2 made money.
Yeah.
Deadpool 3 made the most money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas like Jurassic Park, it's almost a shoo-in for $800 to $1 billion every time, no matter what they do.
Yeah.
Which is why we get a shit hand wavy movie this time around. They do that in the rated R version. It makes less money, and they know it.
It comes in. It costs 250, only makes 400.
Yeah.
And they're pissed. Like I can't believe we
Yeah.
fucking did this. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're literally going, we need to make $1 billion. How do we do that? Get the Jurassic Park out. Like, 'cause that's all they have to do. They know it's going to make
You know
money.
what? Maybe I'm just saying that because all I want's a Turok the Dinosaur Hunter movie. Just give me that instead.
What an
I need
interesting-
Wolverine.
I accept that as a compromise.
I need Wolverine riding a Velociraptor now, though, because that'd be cool as shit too.
I
But,
mean,
you
we
know,
did get
I'm
Optimus Prime riding a dinosaur carrying a sword. I'm just saying, like we did
That
get
is
something.
hey, that's canonical, sir, and I'll hear no besmirchment of.
No.
of
I'm saying that, like,
Dinobot.
I mean, like if you're gonna
that
if
movie
you're
sucks.
if you're gonna ask me what it means to be a guy, I'm gonna point you to that scene with Optimus Prime with a sword riding a robot dinosaur. Like, yes, thank you very much. I think
Yeah.
it's awesome, but
That movie sucks, but
yeah.
that image is cool as shit.
yeah, of course. There's so many. See here, okay. Let me ask the question from another point of view, because this movie might suck, and Dominion sucked too, as we've seen with how lowly it's ranked and how awfully it was on Rotten Tomatoes. But they made money, so are we gonna? So I mean, I asked the question again: are we gonna get another one of these?
Yes.
How? I mean, is it going to be a sequel to Rebirth? Is it going to be a start to another trilogy? What is it going to do?
I would like to ask you a question in response to that question.
Sure.
Does it matter?
I was going to say the same thing. Like, look, if they started doing one-off Jurassic Park movies, does that make a bit of
It
difference?
changes nothing.
I don't think it does, because technically, this is a one-off Jurassic Park movie.
Yeah, this one
Besides
is.
using an old research facility, all these characters are new. Like even InGen is gone. Like they've been dissolved. You know what I mean? Like we don't even use those people again. Like this is as one off of a Jurassic Park movie as we ever gotten.
We haven't even talked about how shit the plot is of this movie.
Well, we don't need
and
to.
What the actual,
Honestly,
I know, but I think it just pointed more to the fact that
I mean, we kind of did. We kind of touched on it, but not really. But
I
it's
mean,
just again,
it's
it's got
just
people.
understand that it's not good.
It's got people going to a dinosaur island to connect dinosaur DNA. That's what it, I mean.
Dino DNA.
I missed that.
It's called a dinosaur egg.
That's it. Just
why was he Colonel Mustard? You know what I mean? Like
I don't know.
Ladbro's dead, so I mean he's maybe a hard reboot is now what there is like. They're looking at the numbers now. I'm like, maybe the next movie is a hard reboot in 6 years, 7 years. Maybe we just start over and then we build a franchise from the ground up, make the first movie with the intent on making 2 more right after it. I don't know.
I promise you're never going to get a piece of art ever again that has the Jurassic Park name on it. It's just all there is to it.
A piece of art. What do you mean by that?
The first Jurassic Park film was good cinema.
Sure,
it was as close to art. It was as close to art as it is to just being a film. You know what I mean? It was just it's a shining example.
Yeah, much like Optimus Prime riding Grimlock.
Yeah,
I would argue the second one isn't too far from that like iconic imagery. It's got a lot of really iconic sequences in that film.
Yeah, but Lost World is also not a good movie.
Well, it's not awful though. It's just not good, and I think there's a difference there.
If we're trying to argue for not good or not awful,
sure.
It's not an argument I really want to have.
It's going to take a different company coming in making a different kind of dinosaur movie for us to get something that's worth a damn at this point.
I disagree. I think they're going to keep because if this one does,
rights to Turok the Dinosaur Hunter.
Turok? That's a good. I mean,
it's got to be Rare, right?
It's got to be
rare.
That was a claim, wasn't it? And then that's owned by Rare.
Maybe, but I mean, listen, I don't know what world you live in, Grayson, where you need any more evidence that Jurassic Park won't make a good movie.
Well, no, I don't. No. I have all the evidence in the world that says that. However, if they put $150 million into this and advertising was let's say altogether, all in $250, and they make $500 or $600, they might view that as let's do it again. Let's keep doubling our money
back.
Yeah, but that's my point. Is we're never going to get an actual we're not going to get a good film out of these. We're going to get the same Jurassic Park we've been getting for years now. Like, we're not going to get a good movie. We're going to get a Jurassic Park film.
Well, we keep getting rehashed versions of no character is original now. We've seen them all before.
Yeah.
Like they may be different genders or that kind of stuff at this point. But
yeah.
We've seen every one of these characters in some other form, and maybe we just don't need that.
Well, that's kind of my point. I don't think we're going to get anything innovative or anything new or anything good until we get someone else to make a dinosaur movie. Because Universal's formula, for as shitty as it is for us for wanting a good film, they're making money. That's what they care about.
Well, but not only that, but they're right now. This movie is I'm sure their parks are seeing the Universal theme park up here. I'm sure is seeing a swell in numbers.
Yep.
And they're selling merch out the wazoo, I'm sure. So all that factors in, but selling toys and merch, that can't equal to an opening weekend of a movie budget, can it?
I bet it can I bet it can really alleviate some of that advertising budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might be right about that.
I mean, look, what if you get 10 million?
T-shirt.
You think that doesn't matter? I mean, that paid for somebody's role.
T-shirts, plushies, and toys make way more money than you think.
Oh yeah.
Take it from a guy who used to work at GameStop.
Especially because it costs nothing to make that stuff.
Tell me what I was told to push more than anything else because of profit margin. You know what I mean? It's just there's no way it doesn't factor for them.
5 years from now, give me a Jurassic Park movie directed by Joseph Kosinski.
Yeah. Oh, there you go, baby. I'm down for that one.
Blow the roof off. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, I'm down for that. I am down for that. But all right, gentlemen, thank you. I should ask any final thoughts on this?
Movie's not really good. And if you like Jurassic Park, you'll probably still watch this movie anyway because that's what people do. They just fucking watch Jurassic Park and you're like, yeah, it's Jurassic Park.
I mean, if you have no problem with where the franchise has gone up to this point, this movie's going to be fine for you. This is my least favorite Jurassic Park film, and that's actually a tough crowd to work to worst in, but it is what it is.
This is absolutely my least favorite. I mean, for as bad as Fallen Kingdom were and Dominion, I still enjoyed them. Like, I can enjoy them as someone watching a movie with popcorn in my lap. Like, I can
I
still
almost walked
enjoy
out of
it.
Fallen Kingdom, so
You did. That's one movie you almost
I
walked out
fucking
of.
hated that movie. Like I fucking hated that movie so much.
Well, it didn't respect your time, and that's one of
No,
it's an egregious sin that a movie can do. But hello, Netflix, talking to you. But yeah, it's.
shots fired.
Yeah,
I think
Netflix has a banger running.
this movie was it's not well written. It's uninteresting. It doesn't respect your time. Your kids won't enjoy it. It takes major leaps in logic. It just I hate when studios do the kid thing. They put a kid in a scenario where there's real killer predators around because the kid's not going to die. So come on, man. But
Sometimes
in
the
the
kid dies.
Not this movie.
Not this time. Remember the one where she get the girl got eaten by a bunch of little ones?
that was the second.
Yeah,
Did she get eaten, or like
She
they
did.
saved her though? Right?
that's the third one, right?
No, I think she got eaten. That's the second
Yeah.
one. That's how the second
Yeah,
one
yeah,
starts.
yeah. She gets eaten.
Good.
Yeah. Or maybe not. I don't. Maybe that's how the
Good.
third one starts. I don't know. How the third one. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's
At some point, some little kid gets eaten.
Yeah.
and I hate. I love a good sacrifice, and I thought, maybe I don't hate this movie so much, and then we see him again. I'm like, okay, I'm back to hating this movie again because
Yeah.
what the heck? But I was so disappointed by this movie.
We had a good run for a while.
We did.
We did.
One of the longest runs of any of our
of
endeavors.
this decent film. Yeah.
Yeah. And this one just isn't it, man. But
We'll see where next week goes.
I'm ready for a 3 in a row disappointment streak. Here we go. Starting with here and
so you're
going for a
admitting.
couple.
So are you digging into the fact that Superman's gonna be disappointed?
I don't think Superman's gonna be good, and I got high hopes for what I know what you did last summer, but I've got an insider telling me not to be too excited. So
Well, I'm not. I don't have any. I mean, am I the insider? I don't have any hope for that movie, and I worked on it. But
I'm glad
I
you
mean,
picked
Why,
up on
yes,
that.
you had to do me, my insider.
I'm only judging on the trailer, and it looks way worse than the original one in '99 did. Which
Tough.
I mean, I don't know what else you want me to do with that. It's the same movie with worse actors. I don't know what you want me to do with that. Like it's just or with less known, less iconic actors. At least they were iconic and well known at the time. These are nobodies. So it's going to be a bloodbath, though. That much I can tell you. But
Good.
thank you, gentlemen, for
that.
joining me. That does it for us in episode 37.
37?
37.
I knew it. A podcast of Post Credits Podcast, a show where we are lucky enough to talk about movies with you. If you listen to this episode on an audio-only service such as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, please feel free to head over to YouTube. Check us out there also. Turn us on while you're working during the day. Turn us on while you're cooking, while you're doing anything. I don't care what it is. Thank you for joining us every week. And next week, we look forward to our discussion with you on Superman. Chris looks forward to it very much.
Yeah, sure. We'll talk about it.
Superman?
So